everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, back, and we're doing a best of 3 Crimson Vow draft. We opened Dorothea again. Well, I had no issues with Dorothea in the last draft. I thought it did a fantastic job for me every single time I played it. So yeah, I'm okay following that up, even though it's a gold card. Other good ones in here, obviously the Wolf Strike, good removal. Sawblade Singer's playable. Fierce Retribution I like. Recluse. Sharpshooter. Yeah, they're all fine. Let's take Dorothea, though, and see if we can do something here. Well, all right, follow-up pick. We can take the Griff Rider. Flame Blessed Bolt's probably the best. Another Fierce Retribution in here, but, I mean, Griff Rider's good, especially with Dorothea. Turn it into a 3-power... I mean, turn 2 Dorothea, turn 3 Griff Rider, turn 4 Smash for 7, and then have the evasive target to put it back on. It's pretty awesome. I'm okay taking it here. Purifier's good, Pummeler's good. I like the Traveler. I like the Recruit. Obviously, I like Bolt, but we can take some on-color cards that are good. And yeah, I think I will take the Griff Rider over the Retribution. That's questionable, I guess. But, yeah, I guess it is questionable. Because removal, I mean, you can never really have enough removal, but I'm going to go with my gut and take the flyer. Especially if we end up with some stuff like infantry put on top of it. So the best card in this pack is probably the Harvester, because this card is just ridiculous. Real strong uncommon. 2-drop 3/2 that makes a blood token for some reason. And then you can sack blood tokens and kill things. Sack blood tokens and it, but it's just very good. Take the infantry here over the syncopate, just because it's a 2-drop that comes back. Get the disturb value. Scavenger's great. Guest is playable. Spore Crawler and Sharpshooter are good and green, but we'll take the infantry. It's a solid 2-drop. All right, well, Arm the Cathar is definitely something that's playable. Good green cards in here. The Cloak Cadet is going to be really good with Train. That's true. Or I could take the Piercing Light, which is cheap removal and lets you scry. It stays on color. And then I still want to play Dorothea, so we'd have to maybe end up splashing it. No blue in here, no significant blue. We can stick to white for now, though, because Piercing Light is totally just a playable card. You know, there's some matchups where it's not going to be good, and there's some where it's going to be a lifesaver, so we'll take it. Well, Diver's Scab is a good blue card. Otherwise, Vampire Slayer, Militia Rallier in white. But no, I like Diver's Scab. Obviously made for blue-black, where you get the most value out of exploiting stuff, but still just an excellent card. Great body that can at least temporarily, or permanently in some cases, deal with something. And the picture is kind of crazy, too. Is that old guy smoking, or does he have just smoke coming out of his mouth? All right, what is the pick here? Well, got some decent choices, actually. Lantern Bearer wears Dorothea quite nicely. Or wears Dorothea's Retribution, I should say. Also, kind of works well with Train, because you can put it on something else, buff it, and then it probably can train this. There's Repository Scab, which currently only brings back Piercing Light. We're going to have a hard time finding exploit fodder too. Like, you could argue that sacking this because it comes back a disturb is probably worth it, but it's just not quite the same. Just hits a little bit different. That's what I'm trying to say, as the kids say. So maybe we just take the Lantern Bearer because it's a 1-drop flyer that disturbs and comes back. There is Syncopate as well, but I'm okay taking flyers when in blue-white skies. Take the skies creatures. Well, Trainee is good. Otherwise, Stitched Assistant, Skywarp Scab, Scattered Thoughts. Could see taking the Scattered Thoughts. We have value stuff for our graveyard already. We have, 3 disturbed creatures. And card advantage is good. Otherwise, Trainee is definitely good too. Can never really have enough 2-drop creatures. I mean, Training, I'd say, is primarily for green-white, but it works in blue-white too. I'd probably go with the Thoughts, though, get the card advantage. Well, I guess technically Wretched Throng is playable, even outside of Yeah, that's true. Even outside of an exploit-centric deck. You have to at least get 2 of them to make them worth your time, though. I think I'm off Supernatural Rescue, despite the fact we've got plenty of spirits already. And Nurturing Presence is something people have been asking me to try, but I'll take the Throng for now. It's something that ends up being fine if we end up finding more of them. I guess we can take Wanderlight Spirit in case we need it, in case we need another flyer. Otherwise, Sanctify out of sideboard's fine, but Beguiler is not really what I'm looking for. To be honest, Wanderlight Spirit's not really what I'm looking for either, but it'll do. All right, we'll take the infantry. Pick 10 infantry is pretty nice. Solid 2-drop. At least infantry is going to be good with... Infantry makes spirit better. Good target for that. All right, Syncopate's a great pickup here. I like it. Totally playable. I don't really like Steelclad Spirit all that much, but... I mean, this is where it's at its best, too, because we legitimately can, you know, probably play enchantments more often than most decks, but still not worth my time. I'm going to take the Rallier over the Vampire Slayer, despite the fact that it's a 3-drop instead of a 2-drop. I think it's just going to end up being better. All right, maybe we'll get a chance to try the Presence. We'll see. Hey, Dollhouse. You know, I haven't played with this yet. Let me see what I think of it. So exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a token's copy of it. So... this is actually going to be less good in our deck because we have all the Disturb stuff. It's a weird card. We don't have... It's definitely at its best with Enter the Battlefield abilities, which we really don't have. So, well, it's cool with Diver Scab, I guess. Kind of maybe just looking at, like, Valorous Stance. Good, cheap removal. Versatile. Not much to say. Deals with big threats for a low cost. Like, I'm all for trying rares out, but it just feels wrong in this deck because we have the Disturb stuff already. I might end up being wrong. I don't know. Just doesn't feel right here. All right. I like the Catgeist actually quite a bit, and I haven't really gotten a chance to play with it much. And on top of that, the Disturb, when you have a bunch of evasive stuff, which we have a good amount already, seems very good, so I'll take it over Binding Geist and Arm the Cathars. Wish we had a little more tempo stuff for it, but that's all right. So I can take another Diver Scab. I think we do. I just really like it. There's Heron of Hope, Sigarda's Imprisonment, Repository Scab. These are all good too, but we'll take the Diver Scab for now. Well, we get a great pickup here in Stormchaser Drake. This has got to be probably the strongest card in our deck right next to Dorothea now, with just the sheer quantity of Disturb stuff we have. I mean, if you're getting that much value out of something where you're using half of a card to buff your flyer and draw another card, it's just, that's so good. Biolumag. Well, we do actually have 2 exploit things. It's possible it could be of enough value here to take. Otherwise, we just take the Binding Geist, which is presumably better for us because it works better with Train, it can attack, and it comes back, and the Disturb could be valuable to us. I really do like Biolumag, and it's unfortunate that I'm passing it because we do actually have the means to exploit it, and it protects on the ground, which is nice. And randomly scries. I'm pretty tempted, to be honest, but I've found Binding Geist to be quite good, and it feels more like a Binding Geist kind of deck to me. Here I'll take Chill of the Grave because our removal is almost non-existent. We have a Piercing Light and a Valorous Stance, so... well, I guess Diver Scabs count as removal, that's true. But whatever, we'll take the Chill. I think, and we have some zombies in here too, which is nice. 3 zombies, to be exact. Wow. Pick 7 Stormchaser Drake. We could play infinite of these. They're so good for our deck. Gutter Skulker is a good one. Has to attack alone to be unblockable, but still a very good card. I think we're probably off the Wretched Throng plan at this point, I would say. It's a fairly safe assumption. So take a second Piercing Light. There's Cruel Witness, Scattered Thoughts, Steelclad Spirit, Syncopate. All those options are good. I'm okay taking another Piercing Light. It's cheap removal. It'll protect us against aggro. It's not as good as I want it to be for Mischievous Geist, because they still get to block it, and then you have to Piercing Light, but whatever. I'm still okay with it. All right, let's take the Binding Geist here. A second one, I'm all right with that too. I like Binding Geist more than Militia Rallier. Kind of seeing a trend here. I keep taking Militia Rallier and saying it's good for training, but... Wait, what can I get back with Repository Scab? 2 Piercing Lights, Valor Stance. I don't really need... I mean, Dawnheart Geist is probably at its best here, but I still probably don't really want to play it. Wow. Well, now Biolume Egg actually just looks good. Let's cut the Rallier. I think we're off the Nurturing Presence, as cute as it is. So Thirst versus Geist. Probably Thirst. Can't really go wrong with awesome card draw. And we have to find more cuts, but as per usual, it's a good problem to have. Wow, we really do have a lot of goodies in here, huh? I don't want to cut anything, and we're at the beginning of pack 3. That's a good sign. Let's take Thirst. Another Valor Stance. I'm all right with it. Still deals with big things. All right. Huh. Yeah. We're going to have a... Oh, Wanderlight Spirit. Yep, that can go. I don't like that anyway. We have like all Disturb stuff too. It's pretty cool. Soul Cipher board. I kind of like it. We could do the Traveling Minister, but I think that's at its best with... I mean, it worked well in the last deck, I think. But we only have one training. We probably don't need it as badly. I'm kind of on board with Soul Cipher board. We have a lot of card draw already, though, so it's not like we need it as much. But it also just feeds our yard with Disturb stuff, which is kind of cool. It's almost like drawing 2 cards. We'll consider it. It eventually nets you a pretty good win con. 3-power flyer that can give you card advantage. We definitely have a too many good cards deck going on right now. Wow. I'm going to take another Drake and be absolutely just thrilled about it. This is definitely the best Storm Chaser Drake has ever looked. All sorts of targets for it. We could take another Wretched Throng and get some more card advantage, but we're so full up we already have to make cuts. We just take Evolving Wilds and be really happy about it. Free fixing. So we're basically splashing white. I mean, at this point, we could be mono blue pretty easily if I wanted to. I don't really see that much reason to, particularly since we're already definitely going to want to run Dorothea. So Heron of Hope is cool. Geistlight Snare. I mean, we have enchantments. That card might actually be good here. I mean, we have like probably all spirits, 8 spirits. I mean, there's a good chance this is Mana Leak at worst. I think we take it. We probably play it. I don't know. I kind of like it. I want to give it a try. This is definitely where it's got to be at its best. We probably don't have space for it, to be honest, but Griff Rider, I mean, Griff Rider is still very good in here. We have the Binding Geist to help buff it. It's another flyer. We'll take it. We've got, yeah, we've got some... Wow, Screaming Swarm's a good one. Good top end there. We have way too many good things in this deck. I mean, Exile can definitely happen. Maybe we just take the Retrieval, at least for sideboard. Even Cradle's not bad as a sideboard card, but I don't know. All right. I mean, all these are good. Technically, could take the Trainee. Another 2-drop. You know, I'll consider it. All the Nurturing Presence. Another Binding Geist. Well, we got the 2 Wretched Throng, but Skywarp Scab is probably at its worst here, and even at its worst, it's still pretty good. There's still times where you want to play a 5-drop, 2/5 flyer that can net you a card. So yeah, we have to make some cuts. Repository Scab, I mean, it does have targets, but Maybe we're still reaching with the Biolumeg. I mean, I really do like it with Exploit a lot, but we've got so many good things going on in this deck. I think we probably focus on our good things. So why don't we get off the repository scab plan? We'll dip out of the Biolumeg plan. Still can cut 3 creatures. And then would I rather run Syncopate or Geistlight Snare? I kind of want to run both, but I don't know if we're going to get that luxury. As far as weakest creatures go, you could argue Catgeist because we don't have that much tempo, but even Catgeist into Binding Geist, I feel like kind of works well. I don't know. I kind of wanted to try out the Catgeist. I do like it. Especially with all these flyers. Like, you stick that on a Drake, draw a card there, attack, draw another card. It's so good. That just takes the game over, I feel like. Let's dip out of the trainee, even though I kind of like it. I kind of want to keep the Lantern Bearer. We probably don't need 3 Binding Geists, although they are very good with the Griff Riders. I may cut 2 of them and just have to be satisfied with that. Syncopate versus Geistlight Snare. I think Syncopate's probably better because exiling is a big deal in this format. I would like to play both, but I think it's unrealistic to successfully do that here. So we probably cut the Geistlight Snare. And then our last cut should probably be... Well, with all the Disturb, like I said, I think Soul Cipher board is quite a bit better because we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7, Swarm. It's a lot of things. 8 if I forgot to count the land. It's a lot of things Soul Cipher board can, you know, basically, it's like free value out of your graveyard, essentially, which is good. But what else would I cut? I could cut the Syncopate. I kind of like having instant speed card draw with counter spells, though. It's just nice. I think there's a reasonable argument to cut the Soul Cipher board here because we already have other means of card advantage. I did kind of want to try it, but I just feel like we probably run it like this and be pretty satisfied. I think it looks good. It's a good looking deck. So, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we run it like this, and we'll see you round 1. Okay, round 1, we'll play first. That is a keep. Good looking hand. Drake into probably infantry. The next turn is kind of what I talked about during the draft, that being able to leave up a card draw. This is... So it could... I think this is actually worth it, believe it or not. Just because it gets rid of their ramp, too. Who knows, they might take it. So, what's interesting about this is I have a choice. I could actually, because that's also good. But I think we Piercing Light Scry and leave up Syncopate. I think this is just fine with me. How do I feel about drawing a Binding Geist? I mean, it's not bad. It's another beater. A land might be better, though. because we can work towards this Screaming Swarm. So like I said, now we're like leaving up Syncopate. I don't want to Syncopate that. All right, so we got the land. So I'm just going to attack and leave up Syncopate and Scattered Thoughts. And if we draw another land, we can actually do the infantry and still leave up Syncopate, which is pretty slick. So, I mean, I guess I could take 2 Diverse Scabs. Maybe take the land here too. Could also take the Griff Rider. Can go Griff Rider and land as well. I mean, Divers, I have to sack something to be able to take full advantage of the Diverse Scab. So maybe just Flyer plus land. I mean, I can also do Flyer. If I do Flyer plus land, though, it lets me... Actually, let's just do Flyer plus... This makes more sense to me. Because now, even if we don't draw the land, which we didn't, we can still play the Griff Rider and leave up Syncopate. Which feels pretty good to me. Particularly since next turn we can do the infantry on the Storm Chaser Drake. Attack with both, draw a card. All right, so we counter that. And now they're just hugely bad trouble. So we draw a card here. Get the land. We can play the Lantern Bearer anyway, so we attack. We'll go Lantern Bearer and pass. All right. So they've got fatties. It makes counter spells better, but we just don't have space for that, to be honest. Valor's Stance is also just very good against Flourishing Hunter. So we can deal with their dudes. I would say Valor's Stance has got to be at its best against werewolf decks, just because almost all the werewolves have 4 toughness, I think. The only one that's really coming to mind right away that doesn't is the 4/3 Menace red one. There's probably more, but I would say for the most part, werewolves are going to have 4 toughness or more on their flip side. Is Binding Geist still good? Well, it's good attacking into a Doom Dissenter. It's not bad attacking into the Weaver. So I would say yes. So far, it's just fine. And I still kind of want it for Griff Rider purposes and the fact that you can disturb it and do something cool with it sometimes. Okay. I guess I'm still satisfied unless I want to bring in Geistlight Snare, but I guess Piercing Light looks less good here, doesn't it, based on what we saw? That's true. Maybe I don't need the Piercing Light. They seem more like a slow roll deck. So maybe it makes more sense to get rid of the light and bring in, like, I mean, a bounce wouldn't be bad. You could bring the Biolumeg back too. I'm kind of on board with Retrieval probably. Maybe we'll try the board out. We'll see. Maybe I would prefer to have the Piercing Lights, but we'll see what they have. Against Doom Dissenter and Weaver, I'm not really digging it. Ooh, it's a good hand. Drake and a Griff Rider. Keep up the syncopate. All right. Uh-oh. Toxrill. Well, I think we very well maybe bringing in our Geistlight Snare as well now, based on that information. I mean, we have 2 Valorous stance for it too, but you might as well have as many possible answers as you can for that card. Because that card is a real beating. Lumbernaut's a pretty good one. At least it doesn't have reach. So, get in for 4. Play the Bear plus the Binding Geist. So we're not leaving up Syncopate this turn, but we also get to train our Griff Rider, which is pretty good. Sure. All right, Soul Cipher board. Yeah, it works for me. I mean, this is currently our race we're just crushing. Well, maybe crushing is a bit too. I mean, they have us on a 2-turn clock, and we have them on a 2-turn clock too. I wonder if it would have actually been smarter to leave up the Syncopate at full capacity. In hindsight, that might have been smarter, because it's not like Soul Cipher board's doing that much for us. I mean, I guess if they don't cast anything, I can use it, which is nice. Wish I could put them both in my graveyard. So, I suppose we counter it. If for no other reason than we have lethal next turn, so. That's got reach too. Oh. Suppose we don't have lethal here, but still got to do it. Maybe I should have used the board first, huh? So they do have lethal and backswing, which means I should just attack with Geist and Griff Rider. I guess we can use this first. I think we actually want the retrieval, don't we? Yeah, I think retrieval seems pretty good, actually. Might be wrong about that, I don't know. So if they draw a removal spell, we die, but we still want to get in for 6 here. I really like the Ancient Lubberknot a lot, though. Card's great. We had some pretty fortunate draws there to win that one. All right, we'll see you in round 2. All right, round 2, we'll have to mull this one, no lands. This one we can easily keep, and it looks very, very good. I forget, do we have any double blue? Because I want to do the Evolving Wilds. So we have double blue, no double white. So we'll play the... what do we get? I guess we could get rid of a Griff Rider. And we'll play the Evolving Wilds first, getting a blue mana. Then we get to go Griff Rider and even leave up Syncopate on the attack, so that's good. We want to definitely train first. All right. So we'll go land, attack. We even can protect from Fierce Retribution, which is nice. We'll play the Lantern Bearer and leave up Thirst for Discovery and Syncopate. I'm all right with that. Well, can't counter that. That one will counter. Especially since it exiles it. Super relevant. Alright, we'll go for the... Oh, this is actually really nice. Good amount of 2-turn clock now, and we still have Valorous Stance up for... I guess, I don't know what they would... Honestly, Valorous Stance, the Indestructible really doesn't even protect it from all that much right now. All right. Dorothea for the win there, which is nice. Playing the mirror match. And they've got some pretty good stuff, actually. Brinecomer is definitely something that feels very good against our Griff Rider plan and our Stormchaser Drake, too. Yeah, that's a little... That's a hiccup, all right. That'd be a real hiccup if we don't have the means here to do more. Valorous Stance. So currently Valorous Stance doesn't target anything that we saw. It could preemptively take them out until we see something that it actually targets. Especially since the Indestructible basically is just going to be a combat trick. It's not going to actually protect from like spot removal. I guess it protects against Fierce Retribution, which we haven't seen yet. I like the Piercing Lights based on what I've seen. But I don't know about the Valorous Stances yet. Maybe we'll cut one and we'll bring in the Soul Cipher board again. Just because I kind of want to give the board more of a chance. So maybe if that's okay for now. Could cut the second stance and bring in the Retrieval, which could be good. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. It can deal with auras too. All right, we'll presume that it might be better based on what we saw. If we see something else, we can swap it. I could have also brought in the Geistlight Snare, just another random counter spell, because I wanted to try that out too, but we'll see. All right, another mull. This one's a keep, and I guess we'll ditch probably... think we actually ditch the retrieval here. Just because I feel like it's not quite going to do enough for us here. Bleeding Spirit's a good one. Lantern Bear's a good one too. Let's do the Soul Cipher board though. For now, we want to make the best use of mana. I do kind of want to protect my life total too though, but next turn I can use the board plus Lantern Bear, and that's pretty good actually. All right, now I think we'll do Drake plus Lantern Bear. Really going all in, huh? You only have one card in your yard, so it was a good trade for us. Sure. You're using a lot of cards here, though, and our Soul Cipher board's getting there, too, so I'm all right with it. Sure. So we'll do Drake plus Lantern Bearer once again. At this point, we just make trades because we're going for the late game with Scattered Thoughts and Soul Cipher board. Doesn't really matter what they buff. I think I just make the trade. Prevents damage, puts another counter on board, gives us access to something out of our graveyard. I'm all right with it. All right, another land is pretty good. We can leave up Scattered Thoughts. We can also Lantern Bear the Drake and draw a card. Or we can play a Griff Rider as well. I might just play Griff Rider and pass. Although, maybe I should attack. Well, I want to protect my life total. Like I said, I think because they could have tempo stuff here, so I think it's wiser to protect our life total. Unfortunately, now they can give first strike. Oh, that's pretty good against us. So I think we actually block with the Drake, because then the board gets activated, and then I can attack back for 6. So we can, I was going to say we can trade our Griff Rider for their Fleeting Spirit, but I guess we can't now. So I think we keep our dudes back again, and same plan as earlier. Now we have to kind of find a way out of this mess now. So I guess let me scatter thoughts first here. I mean, I could use a Cipher-bound Spirit too. I look at less cards, but actually that might be smarter. Well, I have to discard too. Yeah, I might be in too much of an emergency to wait on that. Well, these are good. So we can do this scab and at least have a ground blocker. Well, I definitely would have put it on the Brian Comer there. But wonder if I have to chill now. Kind of feel like I have to. Lantern lost pretty good against us, actually, considering how much of our deck is based on graveyard value. I mean, they use their graveyard too, so it's not like it's a busted sideboard card against us or anything, but yeah, I guess we block there. I don't think that was a good idea. Would have at least used the brine comber first. I mean, we're still definitely losing this game, but all right. So go to game 3 here. Do I want the Geistlight Snare? Their deck is so low curve. I'm not sure if that's actually going to benefit us enough, unfortunately. Valor's Stance I'm happy I took out, because that's not looking too good. And I actually think the Alchemist Retrieval still does look good. But we still did not get there. They don't have any spot removal. Does that mean... No, they do. Piercing Light. Does that mean we want to do we want to try our own Nurturing Presence? I could give it a try. Over the board, because board's a little slow. Maybe I do give Presence a try. Works for them. I could give it a try. We'll see what I think. Might actually be good. You never know. I'm saying it's good. That was a good draw. Still definitely want to do the Griff Rider, but a good draw nonetheless. All right. That's fine. Kind of surprised they want to block there. I guess they gain a life, so maybe it makes sense, but... Now we have a target for our infantry. It's pretty good, and it gets to net us a card. Uh-oh. Whispering Wizard, huh? That's pretty good, too. Let's do the infantry. I mean, it just makes the most sense. We get to draw a card, too. And train. Tough spot. Real tough spot here. Because now they're going to have two blockers, too. Tough spot. Huh. So what does countering it do? Countering it, they still end up with two dudes that can both block my Griff Rider. Otherwise, I have to retrieval and replay it, which isn't going to be good either. I think counter, unfortunately, might be our best thing here. Not particularly happy about it. But that's the way the cookie crumbled on that one. So even if I were to draw blue mana off of that, it's not going to be good enough. So I guess we just do this pass, and then we have to chill the, I don't know, I guess the Whispering Wizard. So we'll chill the Comer here. All right. Unfortunately, once again, just a little too late. We can't do this plus the Diver Scab. We're at 3. We can only play 1 blocker. We can do the Griff Rider plus a bounce. That's still lethal. All right, let's see for round 3. All right, round 3, we'll play first. I don't really like this hand, but it's got both colors. It has some cheap removal. I guess we'll keep it. Good draw there. That's a good draw too. So I think we actually attack for 5 here. And then we do this on the Lantern Bearer. And we leave up Piercing Light for the Shield Basher. All right. Unfortunately for us, they had what they needed there. Oops. I don't know if I wanted to keep that on top. Yeah. Actually sack this and do the Basher, and that way they can't even attack. That's a good sign. All right. Could have gotten rid of the Rallier, but I feel like because they can't attack with the Rallier, kind of makes it worth it to do it like this. All right, looks like we got it. This isn't a breach, right? No, just training. All right, well, stole the game on the back of some diver scabs, that's for sure. So, obviously, Piercing Light is still good, even though they have the Adamant Will. It deals with the Geist, it deals with Taurens sometimes. It deals with the Shield Basher. Oh, it got shuffled back in. It deals with training guys. I mean, I think we just want it. Valorous Stance still definitely seems good too. But is it good enough to run 2 of? Like, it's good with Sheltering Boughs. It's probably, honestly, we'd probably rather once again maybe have 1 Retrieval just for some tempo. We'll keep 1 Valorous Stance around for potential fatties. And I'm still on board with Syncopate, probably over Geistlight Snare. And I guess everything else is okay. It's a keep. Could do Lantern Bearer first, but we're going to do this for the white mana. Probably do, well, I was going to say probably do Catgeist first, but we'll see what they play. Oh, missing land drop, weird. Definitely doing the Catgeist. Keeping the 1-lander on the play is definitely dangerous. Wow, and they didn't even have a 2-drop and they kept it? That's insanely dangerous. So we'll go Drake plus plus Lantern Bearer. We don't have to do Dorothea just yet. All right. Well, I feel like they kind of threw the game away there by not mulliganing. Maybe they made a mistake and didn't mean to keep it, but we'll take a victory nonetheless. End up going 2-1. Went to 3 games in the match we lost to, so it was a fun deck. It was good. Dorothea is very good. And blue-white's kind of a fun archetype, too. I'm glad the Diver Scabs did something for us because I was getting concerned they weren't good in our deck, but they straight up won us game 1 there, so definitely worth it. Let's do some pack 1 pick 1s. All right, here, oh, easy Alana. One of the many broken rares in this format. Edgar is a fun one. I don't think he's broken, but he's very good. He's weird too because I don't like the black-white vampire archetype very much. It's not well supported enough to pursue it, but this card is just a one-man little engine, so still worth taking here over Rending Flame. I would say yeah, because when it dies, you just start spitting out lifelinkers and then it comes back and it buffs them all. It's just very good. All right. All right, you know what? I kind of want to try out Howling Moon. It's obviously very specific to Wolves and Werewolves deck, but I want to try it out. I think it's an interesting card. And it does seem very good for the Wolf and Werewolf deck, so I would try it out. I played against it and turned out better than I thought it would. All right, here, Anja, once again, one of the many broken cards in the format. Extremely good, extremely feel bad, seemingly overpowered. I'm thankful I haven't faced it that much. And Glorious Sunrise. This card is so strong too. This one doesn't feel bad necessarily. It kind of feels bad, but man, I'm starting to get reticent to say every single rare is either completely unplayable or way overpowered in this format. But this one is amazing too. Just absolutely amazing. All the different modes. 4 modes on this bad boy. All of them pretty relevant. So great card too. All right. Well, hope you enjoyed it, folks. We'll be back for the next one. We'll see you then.